The Garbage Man, Part 4, Jie's Home. The welcome mat squelches under the weight of the two men and disperses the water it held onto the sidewalk. Jie's keys do not jingle, his door does not creak. Once it closes behind them, all that can be heard is the squish of Nan's wet socks. "Hold on," Jie says, running to the bathroom to fetch a towel. He unfolds it and places it onto the couch for Nan to sit down. Pointless. He just falls right through the cushion and lands on his ass. Still, it seems they haven't learned anything. Jie helps him up and opts for Nan to stand awkwardly in place. "Sorry about that," she says. "I should have known that would happen." "It's fine," Nan says with a chuckle. "I should have known too." "You probably want to eat more than just cold corn, right?" "Right." "Okay. I don't know what you like, so did you have a favorite food from when you were alive?" Nan pauses a moment. "I really like kung pao. I don't think that's changed. I think I have all the ingredients to make it. Wait here." Jie strides to his kitchen, leaving Nan to drip all over the carpet. He does as told, not moving an inch. Instead, he takes the time to let his eyes wander around the living room. There's a large bookcase behind the broad end of the dining table that piques his interest. Obscured by a chair, he sees a portrait of someone he doesn't recognize. Next to it lies a small box, a vase, and a selection of thick books, too thick to be mistaken for storybooks. "Those are photo albums," he thinks. He shifts his head slightly left, just enough to be able to see the framed picture. A stoic, 60-something-year-old man with sunspots around and under his right eye. He observes it for a while. "Hey, Jie?" "Yup," Jie responds, obscured by steam and muffled by the sizzling pan. "Who's this picture of?" "Which one?" "The man on your bookshelf." "Oh, that's my dad." No more of an explanation is needed. "Was he a good man?" Nan asks. "Not much different than anyone else, I suppose." "Forgive me for sounding rude, but that's not what I asked." "Maybe you don't need a whole lot of detail right now." The perception of anger gets lost in Jie's voice as the two are already yelling over the sounds of tumbling kitchen appliances. After 10 minutes of this incessant clanging, Nan begins to wonder what all the stress is about. "Do you need any help in there? What are you gonna do? Bring moral support? Maybe just so I don't have to keep yelling to talk to you. The food's almost done anyway. I'll be out in a minute." And in a minute he is, carrying a bowl of steaming hot kung pao chicken and stir-fry. Despite its temperature, Nan wastes no time reaching for the bowl to take a bite. A confused Jie watches Nan wince as he burns his hands on the warm bowl. "What? The bowl's not even that hot." "No, it's not that. I didn't touch the bowl." "You touched the chicken?" "Yeah. Damn it." "Wait a minute. Try holding the fork." Nan does as told, but has equally terrible luck. "How's that even possible?" Jie asks. "Have you never used a fork before?" "Well, not yours," Nan stutters. "My family were pretty privileged, so we had specially crafted silverware." The two men make no comments as they come to the realization that in order for Nan to eat dinner, as degrading as the idea seems, Jie is going to have to feed it to him. Nan is going to stand patiently and watch as the man who he met only a week ago has to blow on his food and swoop in the airplane. Though he does suppose, on some level, it's better than the no-handed trough style of eating. You're lucky. If you weren't starving, I wouldn't be doing this at all." "Thanks, I guess. I don't make the rules." "Who does?" "God, probably." "God is a sick bastard, then." "Steadfast in having their way, though. Maybe they've got a reason for it." "You believe in one?" "I believe in a God, yes, but I don't have faith in it. I lost that once I realized that had His or Her Holiness, with all their omnipotence, been truly watching after me with love and care, I wouldn't have died in such a horribly grotesque way. I'm still not sure if my death was an example of God's selective negligence or divine malice, but it doesn't matter anymore. I can't have faith in anything that unpredictable." "What inspired the idea of a God for you in the first place?" "Dying." All right. Enough about that, then. What was your life like?" You don't have to tell me if you don't want to." "No, I will. It's just that I haven't had much time to reflect on it myself, either." "Okay, tell me about your parents, then. You said you come from a really rich family, right? How did they make money?" "Well, it was mostly my dad. It started a few decades ago when he took a trip to America and signed a contract which would make him an official franchisee for a chain restaurant. Which one? Hooters? Oh, I've never been there before. It's like any other fast food restaurant. Subpar food, subpar drinks, a game on the TV, etc. The only difference is that all the waitresses are typically very, built? And they wear low-cut shirts to accentuate it. Oh, one of those types of places. Yeah. Apparently, while he was in America, he was able to come into contact with the then CEO and convince him to bring the restaurant to China. I believe they initially agreed on something like a 70-30 profit split. Eventually, though, it became so popular and so widespread here that Hooters of China Inc. had to be formed. That is what my dad is in charge of. That's pretty wild. It is. And as you could probably imagine, overseeing and operating every single Hooters in China doesn't leave much time for anything else. Hell, I barely saw him either. It was like that for almost as long as I can remember. What do you mean? I mean that he was very absent. He was absent even before that. Most of my growing up had to be done without a father figure. It took me until I was 12 to learn how to ride a bike without training wheels. Isn't that just pitiful? Now that I think about it, he might even be the reason I don't like boobs. The idea or the sight of them. Did you ever wonder if the decisions he made were to make sure you and your family were well off? Who really cares? I don't think any CEO ought to be having children at the same time. Why? Just to become part-time parents? It doesn't do any child good for their parents to work in the shadows. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry he treated you like that. Being the way I am now has its pros and cons. I miss being able to interact with the world the way you do. And maybe I'd still be alive right now if I had the mind and bravery to deal with my problems as they came, sure, but at least none of it matters now. Maybe I can find peace now that the slate's been wiped completely clean. I think your food's probably cooled down by now. Oh, good. I can't wait anymore. Jie grips the lukewarm porcelain bowl and stabs a fork through a piece of chicken and broccoli. He brings the fork up to Nan's mouth as he still reluctantly bites onto it and pulls it off. He savors it a while, knowing how good his first real meal in a week is going to taste. They try to remain as superficial as possible, with little success. Hey, Nan. Thanks for trusting me with that. Yeah, of course. You can trust me with anything too, you know. I won't judge. Jie says nothing, but a nod and a smile.